I want to tell you about a man who fought over 60 sword fights to the death and never lost once, not a single time. Right before he died, he wrote down the secret that made him unbeatable. And when you hear what it is, you're going to realize it has nothing to do with fighting at all. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and in 17th century Japan, he was the most feared swordsman alive. Men would literally surrender before the duel even started, just because they knew who he was. But here's what most people don't know about Musashi. He didn't just master the sword, he mastered himself, and that's a completely different battle. Think about it. 60 duels, 60 times where one wrong move meant death, and he never lost, not a single time. Right before he died, he wrote down the secret that made him unbeatable. And when you hear what it is, you're going to realize it has nothing to do with fighting at all. Before Musashi died, he went into the mountains and wrote everything down. He called it the Book of Five Rings. And buried in those pages is a truth that will completely change how you see your life. Musashi wrote that if you understand the way of strategy in one thing, you understand it in all things. Most people think discipline is about fixing one area of their life. They want to wake up earlier or go to the gym more. But that's not how it works. Real discipline isn't a habit. It's a way of seeing the world. A samurai doesn't just train with his sword and leave his armor dirty. He doesn't study strategy and then live like a slob. Everything matters because everything is connected. The way you make your bed reveals how you'll handle pressure. The way you speak to people when you're frustrated shows whether you actually control yourself or just pretend to. When Musashi trained, he treated every single detail like it could save his life, because it could. And here's what that means for you. Stop compartmentalizing your life. Stop thinking you can be disciplined at work but sloppy at home, focused in the gym but scattered everywhere else. It doesn't work like that. Master one thing completely, with total integrity, and that mastery starts bleeding into everything else you do. But there's something deeper here, something Musashi called the void. The void is a state of mind where nothing clouds your judgment, no emotions getting in the way, no hesitation slowing you down, no overthinking paralyzing you, just pure clarity and action. And this is where most people completely miss the point about discipline. They're waiting to feel motivated, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for inspiration to strike. And while they're waiting, life passes them by. Musashi didn't wait. When the moment came to act, he acted. Not because he felt like it, not because conditions were perfect, because that's what the situation demanded. You want to know what real discipline looks like? It's waking up at 5 in the morning when your bed feels like heaven. It's sticking to your word when breaking it would be so much easier. It's doing what you said you'd do, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people think discipline is about willpower, like you need some superhuman strength to force yourself through life. But that's exhausting. That's not sustainable. Real discipline is about becoming a different type of person, someone who acts regardless of feelings. You build it in the small moments, the moments when no one's watching, when skipping wouldn't matter, when making an exception seems harmless. Every time you choose to act when you don't feel like it, you're winning a battle. Every time you uphold your standards when it would be easier not to, you're sharpening the blade. And over time, those small victories compound into something unbreakable. Musashi understood something else, too. Timing. In a sword fight, timing is everything. Attack too early, you're exposed. Attack too late, you're dead. But attack at exactly the right moment, with full commitment, and you win before the fight even really begins. Your life works the same way. There's a time to push hard and a time to rest, a time to speak up and a time to stay silent, a time to take risks and a time to be patient. Most people either burn themselves out by going all out all the time, where they never fully commit to anything. They're stuck in this middle ground where they're always kind of trying but never really doing. Musashi would prepare for months, sometimes years, for a single duel. He didn't waste energy on meaningless fights. He didn't prove himself to every random person who challenged him. But when the moment mattered, when everything was on the line, he gave absolutely everything he had. That's what you need to start doing. Stop saying yes to everything. Stop spreading yourself so thin that nothing gets your best. Learn to recognize what truly matters in your life and bring your full attention and energy to those moments. Because discipline isn't about constant intensity. It's about knowing when to act and then executing with everything you've got. But here's where it gets really interesting. Musashi believed that you can only fight the way you practice. Think about what that means. If you practice half-heartedly, you'll perform half-heartedly. If you make exceptions in training, you'll make exceptions when it counts. If you give 70% effort and expect 100% results, you're living in a fantasy. Musashi trained so intensely that when real fights came, they felt easier than his daily practice. He would go into the mountains and isolate himself in caves for months at a time, 12 hours a day practicing, refining, eliminating every weakness he could find. The villagers thought he was absolutely insane. And that's the point. When you start living with real discipline, people are going to think you've lost your mind. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you're taking things too seriously. Your friends will stop inviting you places because your routine is too strict. Your family won't understand why you can't just relax and be normal. People will avoid you because your standards make them uncomfortable about their own choices. And when that starts happening, that's exactly when you know you're on the right path. Because here's the truth. Real discipline makes people uncomfortable. It holds up a mirror to their own excuses. When they see you waking up every single day, it highlights how often they hit snooze. When they see you sticking to your word, it reminds them of all the promises they've broken to themselves. When they see you choosing the hard path over and over again, it forces them to confront why they always choose comfort. Musashi wrote that the real battle isn't against other people, it's against yourself. The laziness inside you, the fear, the ego, the voice that says one exception won't hurt, the desire for comfort, the endless stream of excuses your mind generates to avoid doing what you know you should do. Every single day you're in a war, and every decision is a battle. Do you sharpen your blade or let it rust? Do you do what you said or what you feel like? Do you push through the resistance or give in to it?
Most people think the war is external, against their boss, their circumstances, other people. But that's not where the real fight is. The only war that truly matters is the one inside your head. Can you act when you don't feel like it? Can you uphold your standards when no one is watching? Can you look at your weaknesses honestly and push forward anyway? That's the battlefield. That's where real discipline is forged. And once you start winning those internal battles consistently, something shifts. The external world responds differently. People sense when someone has real self-control. It changes how they treat you. It changes the opportunities they offer you. It changes everything. Musashi wrote that victory is for the person who is even 1 inch ahead, 1 inch more disciplined than yesterday, 1 inch more committed than last week. True discipline isn't about impressing anyone. It's not about being better than other people. It's about being someone who can be trusted, especially by yourself. When you tell yourself you're going to do something, you do it. When you set a standard, you live by it. When you make a commitment, it's unbreakable. That's what separates people who achieve extraordinary things from people who just talk about achieving extraordinary things. So here's what I want you to do. Start living like a modern samurai. Treat your daily routine like training for the most important fight of your life, because in a way, it is. Every choice you make is either strengthening you or weakening you. There's no neutral ground. Make decisions today that your future self will thank you for. Choose discipline over comfort. Choose action over waiting for the perfect moment. Choose to be someone your past self wouldn't recognize. And when people start calling you crazy, when they start saying you're taking things too far, when they stop understanding why you do what you do, smile and keep going.
because that's exactly when you know you're doing something right. That's when you know you've crossed over into territory most people will never reach. The question isn't whether you can build this kind of discipline. You can. The question is whether you're willing to become the type of person others won't understand. Because that's exactly what it takes. And that's exactly what Musashi knew.